Hi, this is Donda at DG Recruit. As a headhunter who headhunts other recruiters and agency recruiters, specifically working at recruitment agencies, it's really funny to hear people say that recruitment as a job can get a little bit monotonous. I've worked a ton of jobs since pretty much high school. I was interning at white-collar roles and working blue-collar jobs. And I really got to see at a very young age jobs and what they're like in general. And I have to say every single job is more or less monotonous, right? If you're a painter, it's monotonous. If you're a lawyer, I'm sure it's monotonous. If you're a doctor, everything's monotonous because that's the point of having a profession, is that there's a dedication to your craft, and the craft is going to be more or less the same day in and day out. You're not going to be a doctor one day, and the second day you're doing lawyer stuff, and the third day you're a sports newscaster, and the fourth. That's not how jobs work. And I think in today's world, maybe it's a symptom of the times, which is maybe the millennial group, me, myself included, and people that I've seen around me. There is always what I call chasing the dragon, looking for the next fun thing, the next thing, the escape, the next step. But reality is they just end up not building a career. They end up not having a profession. And the reality is we all have a craft, we all have a profession, we all have a role to play in society, and we all have something that hopefully, if you really enjoy it, if you're good at it, if it pays well, and if it's doing something good for the world, then that equals ultimate happiness. But the happiness isn't going to be constantly changing, constantly new. And the funniest thing is when people say recruitment is monotonous, I'm like, out of all the 9-to-5 jobs in the world, recruitment's probably the least monotonous out of all of them. The constant people dealings, the constant day-to-day market changes, and just the constant client changes and candidate changes. I mean, how could you say this job is monotonous out of all the jobs? I can see how you can say a lawyer job. Yeah, it could be monotonous. Yeah, you're dealing paperwork all day. Or going to work at McDonald's, it can get monotonous. I can see that. You're just doing the same functional task every single day. Recruiting is actually intellectually stimulating. Anyways, I could just talk on and on about why I don't think recruiting, out of all things, could be described as monotonous. But I think I get the gist of it, is that people constantly want this excitement or something new or something different every single day. Which, again, you just have to question, what is your job's approach? What is your life approach, right? And also, how do you make your current job exciting? Whatever you're doing, how do you make it exciting, right? Yeah, if you look at everything like it's monotonous and boring, then it will be exactly like you said it was going to be, right? Humans, we have a tendency to say something and believe what we're saying. So if you choose to use these phrases to describe your job, your profession, your day, your approach to life, is that the narrative you actually want to see and have for yourself? Now, I don't mean delude yourself and force yourself to do something you absolutely hate, because I don't think anyone can do recruiting if you absolutely hate it every day. You can hate your boss, you can hate your company, you can hate the environment in which you work. If you hate your actual job, I don't think you can actually functionally do it, because it's just miserable all day, right? So again, the question that you need to ask yourself is, why am I feeling this way? What has gotten me to feel like my job is becoming monotonous? Is it the job? Is it the career? Is it the day-to-day actual role that I dislike? Or is it the actual environment that's draining me of my energy, the people that I'm working with, the projects I'm on, the constraints that I feel towards my life? Right? The constraints I feel towards making money. I hear that complaint a lot. And then again, when you dive deeper, you realize the problem is cannibalization. Right? Somebody says, hey, I'm really feeling constrained. I'm really feeling monotonous. I'm really feeling like every day is just not getting anywhere. It could also be because they're in a really tough market, that their client, their boss, their company shouldn't even function in, because it's a crappy recruitment market. And even if you work really, really hard, there is no win. There is no financial gain. Right? So certainly in cases like that, where the financial reward is also a problem, I can see why this job would be monotonous, because it's what am I doing this for every day? I don't get anything good out of it. Right? So I think for you really got to think about what is causing this unhappiness. Where is it coming from? And really dissect it. Are these things influenceable? Are these things solvable? And most of the times it is. Again, as long as you don't hate the actual job, where you're like, God, I hate recruiting. I hate talking to candidates. I hate talking to clients. I hate all of it. As long as you don't hate the job, there's always a solution. There's always a company that has more flexibility. There's always a company that will let you sell to different territories. There are always going to be companies with managers that are going to treat you better. There's always companies that are going to pay you more. Right? All these things can be fixed. What can't be fixed is the love for the game that you have. So let's talk, if you're a top biller or aspiring to be. As you get more experience in this career, I'd love to be an asset and resource for you. Please feel free to reach out to the DG Recruit team, myself and my colleague Grace included. Would love to talk to you and learn more about how we can help you achieve the life and career you envision in agency recruiting.